doing, Mr. Goss? Or Gettler, my bad, Gettler.
I'm doing fine, thank you. All right, we're starting our criminal docket for Thursday, May 8th. And we are beginning with State of Kansas versus Dusty Vaughn. Case numbers MGI 21 CR 447 and MGI 25 CR 26. Mr. Vaughn appears in custody by Zoom with, but separate from counsel, Mr. Jack Villamaria, and stayed by Assistant County Attorney Ms. Plashka. I set this matter for review for the following reason. On Tuesday, Mr. Vaughn appeared significantly late for court. That was the second time that occurred. Consequently, he was ordered to serve a sanction to be released today at 5 o'clock. He was also ordered to submit to UA, which is a condition of his bond. I received a notice from the jail yesterday, Mr. Vaughn, that you were refusing to submit to UA. Is that still the case?
I admitted to it, but they marked me down as a refusal, and I told them I'd go ahead and do it, and they said no, but I didn't exactly refuse it. It was just kind of a misunderstanding, I guess.
So have you submitted a UA? Is a simple question on that, yes or no?
No, I didn't take one. They didn't let me because they said I refused it, but I didn't refuse it. I haven't taken one, though, Your Honor. I can.
Well, you're ordered to, so you need to. Otherwise, your sanction is going to be extended.
Oh, how long?
Conditions.
How long will it be extended for?
Mr. Vaughn, I would urge you to submit to the UA. It's a condition of your bond. It's not an option.
I'll submit to it. I'll do it.
All right, deputies. I'd ask that you give Mr. Vaughn another opportunity to submit to UA. Provided he does so, he can be released at 5 o'clock today, as previously ordered. If he does not, let me know. And Mr. Vaughn, you'll sit in jail until further notice. Any questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, Mr. Vaughn?
No, not at all.
All right. Mr. Villamaria, my recollection is that we had reset Mr. Vaughn's cases because you had waited quite a while for him to appear before you had to leave. June 3rd at 1:30. Were you available on that date, Mr. Villamaria?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. So we'll see you on June 3rd at 1:30 in Independence, Mr. Vaughn. So assuming that you comply with the UA and you get out of jail at 5 o'clock today, be sure to continue reporting on supervision and return to court here in Independence on Tuesday, June 3rd at 1:30, not 1:31, not 1:35, at 1:30. I suggest you be here early.
If I fail it, will I have a bond?
I'm sorry?
If I fail it, will I have a bond?
You're going to be released, Mr. Vaughn, regardless of the results of your UA. If you're positive, I'm going to discuss that with you on June 3rd. And I would suggest that if your probation officer, who you need to report to when you're released, if they request additional UAs between now and June 3rd, I would highly suggest that you test negative. Otherwise, you'll probably spend more time in jail.
If I failed it, then my sanction was going to be extended, is what I thought you said.
No, your refusal was going to result in it being extended.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, I was tripping.
But just know, if you test positive, I would highly anticipate your probation officer is going to request additional UAs when you get out. And if you continue,
I get those every week.
Mr. Vaughn, you need to be quiet and listen for a moment. And if you continue to test positive, then you will spend more time in jail.
Oh no.
All right, so we'll see you June 3rd at 1:30. Anything from the state, Ms. Plashka?
No, Your Honor.
What's the date for the court date?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that date's written down for you, Mr. Vaughn. We'll see you June 3rd. Thank you.
Since I booked in at 3 o'clock, will I be released at 3 o'clock?
You're getting out at 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Judge, I'll make sure that UA gets done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The state of Kansas versus Trey Thompson. Deputies, he's on the afternoon. We're going to take him up this morning. You may not have been copied on that email. So if you could get him available, I apologize for that.
Judge.
Thank you. That was probably news to you.
Yep.
My apologies.
That's all right.
Ms. Turner, as soon as they get him up, we'll take up Mr. Thompson's cases.
Thank you, Your Honor. I really appreciate taking it up this morning. Thank you.
No problem. I think I received a message that Jasmine Herring is appearing from the Cottville Court Service Office. If she's available, we can take that up. Her attorney, Mr. Hoffmeister, just joined.
I'll run to go get her real quick, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, I'll be requesting leave to withdraw from that case. I represent a co-defendant in the same matter.
Okay. That would be a conflict.
I represent Tracy Bromley, who is the co-defendant.
Jasmine Herring, Your Honor.
Thank you. State of Kansas versus Jasmine Herring. This is case number MGI 25CR29. Ms. Herring appears by Zoom from the Cottville Court Service Office with, but separate from her current attorney, Mr. Hoffmeister, and state by Ms. Plashka. This matter is on for attorney review, with the court having appointed Mr. Hoffmeister since Ms. Herring's last court appearance on April 22nd. Ms. Herring, before you perhaps joined this Zoom session, Mr. Hoffmeister advised the court and the state that he was going to file, or he's going to request orally to withdraw as your attorney of record due to conflict. Is that correct, Mr. Hoffmeister?
Yes, Your Honor. I've been appointed to represent a co-defendant previously. I believe I've been appointed a couple months ago. Tracy Bromley is the co-defendant. That would create a conflict in me representing Ms. Herring as well in the same matter based on the same facts and same discovery.
All right, Ms. Herring, we're going to allow Mr. Hoffmeister to withdraw as he can't represent the both of you. And he was appointed to represent Tracy Bromley first. I will appoint new counsel for you. Mr. Lampson,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you represent anyone involved in this case? Obviously, you don't represent Ms. Herring. You don't represent Tracy Bromley because that's handled by Mr. Hoffmeister. There's a third co-defendant, perhaps named Zava White.
I do not represent any of those people at this point, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any conflict you have representing Ms. Herring in this matter?
No, I am not.
All right. All right, Ms. Herring, we're going to appoint Heath Lampson to represent you.
Okay.
Mr. Lampson, can you provide Ms. Herring your telephone number?
Sure. It is 316-617-6714. If you give me a call, we'll set up a time to visit, okay?
Yes.
All right, I suggest we pass this to June 5th. In the morning by Zoom, okay with you, Mr. Lampson, or do you prefer the afternoon?
June 5th is fine by Zoom, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Herring, next court date is going to be Thursday, June 5th at 9 o'clock by Zoom. I presume you're welcome to go and sit with Ms. Shoup in her office if she'll allow you to do that.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, anything from the state, Ms. Plashka?
No, Your Honor.
All right, if you submit that order, Mr. Hoffmeister, to withdraw, I'll be happy to sign it.
I will, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. You're free to go, Ms. Herring.
Okay.
Your Honor, we have Trey Thompson now.
Okay. State of Kansas versus Trey Thompson. Case number is MGI 23CR184 and MGI 25CR96. Mr. Thompson appears in custody by Zoom with, but separate from counsel, Mrs. Hearn, state by Mrs. Plashka. These matters set for review. I think originally the 25CR96 case was set for a settlement conference today. However, there was an agreed order passing that 25 case to June 5th at 9:30 by Zoom. And so I think the request today, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Hearn, is to pass both these matters to that June 5th date. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is that okay with the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Thompson, we're going to pass both your matters, both 23CR184 and 25CR96 to the June 5th Zoom docket at 9:30. Any questions about that? No? Okay. If nothing else, that's all for today. Thank you.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hearn. All right, we're going to quickly take up State of Kansas versus Leroy Null. MGI 23 CR 313 will show that attorney Mr. Curry appears as attorney of record for Mr. Null by Zoom, stated by Ms. Plashka. Mr. Curry, you're presently muted. Are you expecting
There we go.
Mr. Null to appear today?
I am, Judge. I spoke to him this morning. I gave him the login and ID. He texted me. He said he's having a little difficulty getting on. I told him to log out or get to a better location.
Well, if you just want to stand by, as soon as he joins the waiting room, I'll get him brought in and we can take it up.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. State of Kansas versus Brian Twitchell. MGI 25 CR 153. Mr. Twitchell appears in custody by Zoom with, but separate from counsel, Mr. House, stated by Ms. Plashka. And this matter is on for review today.
Can I get a bond reduction?
Well, let's slow it down a little bit, Mr. Twitchell.
Okay.
We might get
Sorry
there.
about that. Sorry about
That's
that.
right. Mr. House, how do you want to proceed today?
Your Honor, I do need some time to talk with Mr. Twitchell, and I intend to go down and see him this morning. We've not had an opportunity to talk yet, and I've just got, some discovery information. If we could set this off for your next court date. However, it's a misdemeanor. If we could get a resolution of it, I might request an earlier disposition of the case if possible.
Yes.
All right. I show that Mr. Twitchell's bond is presently $2,500 cash for professional surety with supervision. And of course, no contact. Hang on, Mr. Twitchell.
All right.
There's no contact with any victim or witness.
Right.
What is your request, Mr. Twitchell, for a bond reduction?
I'm on disability. I haven't worked in a few years. If my bond was $1, I still couldn't make that bond.
All right. Ms. Plashka, it appears that Mr. Twitchell's been in custody since April 22nd, maybe a day before that. I'm inclined to give him an OR bond.
Yes.
Audit his disability status with these being misdemeanors, still with supervision.
Yeah.
Any strong opposition to that, Ms. Plashka?
As long as the defendant is admonished, no contact with any victim or named witness from the complaint.
I understand.
All right, so Mr. Twitchell, in light of your disability status, with these being misdemeanors, I will agree to release you on a $2,500 OR bond with supervision. That means you'll get out of jail today. You won't have to post any money, but should you fail to appear for any future court appearance, you may owe the court $2,500. Additionally, you're to have no contact of any kind, direct or indirect, with any alleged victim or witness. The best I can tell, that is just Sharon Twitchell.
Yes.
So if you're to have any contact with Ms. Twitchell in any way, shape, or form, either yourself directly through a third party, social media, what have you, that'll be a violation of your bond, and you'll find yourself back in custody. Any questions about that?
Absolutely not.
You also need to report on supervision. What that means is, as soon as you get out of jail, you need to immediately go to our court service office, either next door to the Montgomery County Courthouse, the building immediately to the west of this one, or if you're residing in Coffeyville, you can go to the courthouse in Coffeyville, but that needs to be your very first stop when you get out of jail today.
Okay.
You will fill out some paperwork and you'll report to court services as they direct, when they direct. Typically, that's on a Wednesday between the hours of 8 and noon, and oftentimes it's by telephone. But if they want you to report more often, or if they want you to report in person, it's whatever they tell you to do. It's the same as if I ordered it.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. House, remind me one more time, what court date did you request this be passed to?
Well, your next, since he's going to be on an OR bond, your next court date.
And did you want that in the morning by Zoom or afternoon in person?
I think we should do it in the afternoon in person. Hopefully, we'll have some disposition of the case at that time.
Is that okay with the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Twitchell, next court date then is going to be on Thursday, June the 5th. That'll be at 1:30. That'll be in person in Coffeyville. So Thursday, June 5th, 1:30, Coffeyville. Any questions about that?
Absolutely not.
All right. We will see you then. Thank you, sir.
All right, and Judge, Mr. Twitchell, I'll be down
Yes,
to
sir.
see you immediately, okay? I'll be right
You're
there.
gonna see me or come see you?
I'll come and see you.
Okay. Thank you very much, House.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. House. We'll see you at 10:30. All right, Mr. Hoffmeister, you have two other cases on the docket this morning, a Matthew Cornsilk and a Christy Sack. I don't see either one in the waiting room presently. Have you any contact with either one?
Christy Sack is in my office, Judge. I can go grab her, but if we could just take up Mr. Cornsilk first.
Okay. State of Kansas versus Matthew Cornsilk, MGI 25 CR 81. We'll show Mr. Hoffmeister appears as the attorney of record by Zoom, stated by Ms. Plashka. Now, on April 10th, it looked like Mr. Cornsilk, per Ms. Shute from Court Services, was in landmark recovery in Arkansas. Is he still there by chance?
Judge, my understanding, I had a conversation with Kaylee Brock, who is Mr. Cornsilk's bond supervisor, because I have not heard from Mr. Cornsilk for some time, and she was the one that advised that he was in an inpatient treatment facility. My email with Miss Brock yesterday, I was advised that he was discharged on April 30th. He was supposed to provide that paperwork to Miss Brock on May 1st. He did not do so, and he failed to meet for his bond supervision meeting, I believe, yesterday, the 7th. She hasn't had contact with him since that time. I have not had contact with him since that time. So that's really all I have to report at this point. I don't know how to get a hold of Mr. Cornsilk, nor have I received any messages from him. I know that I've been bad at times getting back with people, but I'm usually well aware if someone's been trying to contact me or left me messages, and I don't recall Mr. Cornsilk attempting to make contact with me over the past couple months.
All right, let me just quickly ask the individual named iPhone. What's your name, sir?
Leroy?
Leroy Null?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just sit tight with you in 1 second.
Yes, sir.
What I'm inclined to do on Mr. Cornsilk is issue a bench warrant to essentially to act as a hold, just to get him back here. He was out on an OR bond, but if he's not been in contact with anyone, and I presume he's aware of this court date, even though he wasn't here last time because he's in recovery. But if nothing else, to get him back here so he can be advised of his next court date. That's what I'm inclined to do. Ms. Plashka, state's position?
Would be the state's request, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll issue a bench warrant for Mr. Cornsilk. Again, at a minimum to act as a whole, just to get him back here so he can be notified of his next court date. Thereafter, unless some information comes out that would make it inappropriate, it would be my intention to release him back on an OR bond now that he is completed with his treatment program. But we'll have to see what he has to say about that. All right, so that is Mr. Cornsilk. And if you want to get your client, Ms. Sack, I will take up Mr. Null in the meantime.
Very good, Judge.
All right, we'll go back on the record on State of Kansas versus Leroy Null, MGI 23 CR 313. Mr. Null appears by Zoom with the separate from counsel, Mr. Curry, state by Ms. Plashka. This is on for review. We were passing this matter to kind of track a federal case that Mr. Null was going through. What's the status of all that, Mr. Curry?
Judge, we're set for a plea May 28th. I expect that sentencing will be scheduled about 60 days after that. But Mr. Gaiaso and I have been in plea negotiations. I'm comfortable going ahead and setting this for a plea. I don't know. We haven't come up with a date, but I would like it to be after the May 28th date.
I have my next docket is June 5th. That's certainly after May 28. Are you available on that day?
At 9:30, Judge? Or is it at 9 o'clock?
Well, our docket starts at 9. I don't know what time we'd take up this particular case. It would likely be closer to 9 o'clock than after.
Would you
But
allow?
it could be by Zoom that morning, so long as I have a plea petition in hand. That'd be fine.
Okay. I have something at 8:30, but I should be available by 9:30. If we could go ahead and just set it for 9, and then we'll appear as soon as we can.
Yeah, I can put you down at a 9:30 slot. That'd be fine.
Thank you.
And then whenever you get signed on, we can take it up. Our docket normally goes well beyond that, so whenever you both join. Is that okay with the state, I presume?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Null, next court date is going to be Thursday, June 5th at 9:30. Or soon thereafter as your attorney is able to join.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you sign on next time, try to change your name. Right now it says iPhone, and
Okay. Sorry,
if
sir.
it doesn't have your name on there, I can't guarantee you're going to be allowed into the room, and then it may be a failure to appear.
Okay. Sorry, sir.
That's all right. Just know for next time.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Judge.
State of Kansas versus Christy Sack, MGI 25 CR 111. Ms. Sack appears by Zoom with counsel, Mr. Hoffmeister, stayed by Ms. Plashka. And this is on for attorney review. Obviously, the court has appointed Mr. Hoffmeister.
I've been retained, Your Honor.
You've been retained, okay. Let me get this pulled up. Okay, interview appearance on April 30. My apologies. How do you want to proceed?
Judge, I was provided discovery yesterday. I need some additional time to meet with my client to discuss that. I'm providing you a redacted copy of that this morning and anticipate having meetings with her in a week or so to further discuss that and decide how we want to move forward. I would ask that we set this in 4 weeks in the morning for further review before scheduling a settlement conference. That would be my preference because I'm not going to be available in the afternoon in 4 weeks, either on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
So June 5th in the morning by Zoom for review.
That would be my preference, Your Honor.
Ms. Plashka?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Sack, next court date, Thursday, June 5th, 9 o'clock by Zoom, and they'll be for review. Any questions about that, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, I also filed a formal motion for release of property that I had noticed up for hearing this morning as well. I'd like to address that.
All right, I see that motion on file the same day as your entry of appearance, and that is regarding a 2004 Pontiac Sunfire purported to belong to Miss Sack's mother, Carolyn Poor, and needed for transportation. Ms. Plashka?
Your Honor, bear with me for just a moment. I did not know that there was a motion on Mr. Gayoso's case.
No problem.
Mr. Hoffmeister, have you discussed this with Mr. Gayoso at all?
When I talked to Mr. Gayoso yesterday, what's occurred is when I filed a formal motion, sent an email to Mr. Gayoso regarding the motion, heard nothing back, spoke to Mr. Gayoso yesterday on the phone. He reached out to Richard to get a hold of law enforcement. I don't know if he has heard back yet, but at this point, we believe there's no evidentiary value, that there's not going to be a forfeiture action filed. So there would be no reason for the Sunfire, the vehicle, to continue to be held, particularly if it's owned by Ms. Sack's mother. I attached a copy of the certificate of title to the motion for release of property. We'd like that to be released as soon as possible as it is needed for transportation, not particularly for Ms. Sack, because she has a suspended license, but for her mother.
Are you stipulating to photographs of the vehicle for
Yes.
any contested hearings?
Yes.
Then the state has no objection with that stipulation of photographs in place of the vehicle at any contested hearings.
All right, with that stipulation, then the court will grant the motion order that the 2004 Pontiac Sunfire be released to the defendant's mother, Carolyn Poor. The photographs can be taken and presented at any subsequent hearing.
Very quick question. Is the state aware of where the vehicle is located so I can advise my clients where to go with the filed stamped order?
I would imagine it's at the Quonset hut, but I'm not positive on that since it's not my case. Is this an IPD case or a sheriff's case?
It is I believe, a Coffeyville
It's Coffeyville
Police Department case. So it was seized in Coffeyville by Coffeyville Police Department officers.
I would reach out to the Coffeyville PD and ask them where it's housed at.
Okay, very good. I will submit or I will prepare an order for release of property. I will include Ms. Plashka and Mr. Gayoso on that and file it once I receive approval. I'll also include in that order that the defendant stipulates to photographs, pictures being entered into evidence of that vehicle if necessary.
Thank you.
Very good. Anything further on Ms. Sack's case today?
Not from the state.
Nothing further from defense.
All right. Have a good day, Ms. Sack. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Judge,
all
I'll
you have
see
this
you.
morning?
It is. I'll see you this afternoon.
Sounds good. And we have Mr. Gayoso joining us now.
I do have one matter on the 9:30 docket, an expungement. I guess there's two of them, but that's for the same defendant.
All right. I haven't seen her join. Or were you expecting her to appear? Have you had any recent contact?
Your Honor, to be all candor to the court, I just got this case at 8:55 and was noticed that it had a date of hearing today. So I have not had a chance. I would be requesting a continuance of it to give me just a couple days to do the review necessary for an expungement.
Okay. Well, I don't think you need to stick around for that. I can wait and call the case a little later, see if she joins.
Okay.
It'd be my intention if she does join, just to pass it to my next docket or your next docket for review if you want on a Tuesday.
That's fine.
And then in the interim, if you review it and determine that you have no objection, you want to submit an order or contact her to have her submit an order, we can resolve it in advance of that June 3rd date.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Gayoso.
Good morning, and I apologize. That took a little longer than expected. Justice Rosen apparently likes to speak a lot, so.
With the Supremes this morning. All right. Okay, Mr. Lamson, you have a couple clients in custody. We'll start with Jared Allison. State of Kansas versus Jared Allison, MGI 24 CR 117, 24 CR 118, and 24 CR 153. Mr. Allison appears in custody by Zoom with, but separate from counsel, Mr. Lamson, stayed by Mr. Gayoso. These matters on for review today.
And Your Honor, I don't know how Mike feels about this, but if we could pass this to this afternoon, I know we'd have to transport him, but he is in custody. I think we've got a global resolution. So it'll probably be for plea on all three cases, Your Honor.
How do you feel about that, Mr. Gayoso?
I'm fine with that. I'll be here, so. I don't know if they were planning on transporting any other individuals, or whether Heath could have the plea agreement done by then, but.
It looks like there's at least two others that are going to be transported. All right, we'll pass these matters this afternoon. So, Mr. Allison, we will see you at 1:30 in Coffeyville.
Sir.
Thank you. State of Kansas versus Tia Hart.
Sorry.
Good morning. State of Kansas versus Tia Hart. Case numbers MGI 25 CR 130 and MGI 25 CR 138. Ms. Hart appears in custody by Zoom with the separate from counsel, Mr. Lamson, stayed by Mr. Gayoso. These matters on for attorney review with the court having appointed Mr. Lamson. The court also acknowledges having received a number of letters from Ms. Hart requesting release from custody, modification of bond. So we can address that as well. But Mr. Lamson, how would you like to proceed today?
I'd like to put this on your June 5th date in the afternoon at 1 o'clock for a settlement conference, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gayoso.
That would be great, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Hart, next court date is going to be Thursday, June 5th at 1 o'clock p.m. in person in Coffeyville for a settlement conference. That's where you and your attorney will meet with Mr. Gayoso to see if some sort of resolution can be reached to resolve your cases. Regarding bond, it is presently, looks like there are two bonds. One is 10,000 cash surety of supervision. That is related to MGI 25 CR 138. That is the case in which you're charged with a number of alleged violations of the Offender Registration Act. And then in 25 CR 130, your bond is 5,000 cash surety of supervision, no contact with any victim or witness, that including Johnny Woods and then a minor child. In that case, you're charged with criminal threat and traffic contraband into a correctional care facility. What kind of bond reduction or modification are you requesting, Ms. Hart?
Where I was requesting an OR bond because I am trying to get my disability and I missed appointments and that's setting me back from getting my disability. It's crucial that I make those appointments because that's what he'll be judging based on my my approval on those appointments.
Right, and what is the nature of your disability?
My arthritis and depression.
Well, I'm not sure that an OR bond is appropriate, given the multiple person felonies you're facing for the failure to register. I know that was largely the subject of your letters to me. You offered an explanation as to why you hadn't registered.
Yes.
I would caution you about writing letters to the court. Those do become part of the court record, which the state can use against you. I would suggest that future correspondence go through your attorney. That way he can ensure you don't say anything that might incriminate yourself.
Yes, sir.
So unless you have something to tell the court regarding Mr. Lamson's representation, anything regarding your case, go through him. I ordinarily don't respond to letters from individuals in custody or from defendants in general, especially if it's about their cases in particular. But I guess my point is your letters were focused primarily on your registration, and you offered an explanation as to why you hadn't. But I mean, it's important to note that you have a second case that goes beyond just the allegations that you failed to register. You're also facing a level 9 person felony for criminal threat, and then trafficking contraband into a correctional care facility. So this isn't just a failure to register case. There's also another person felony involved. So I don't think an OR bond is appropriate. I would entertain a bond reduction. So I certainly don't want you to miss out on your potential eligibility to get disability approved. But I don't know that an OR bond is appropriate. Mr. Gauss, so what's the state's position?
We don't have any objections to the court modifying the original $10,000 cash or professional surety bond to apply to both cases.
Okay.
With bond supervision.
All right, Mr. Lamson, I know that you're disappointed. You haven't had a chance to really review the cases or visit with your client, but is there anything you're in a position to offer the court in support of your client's request?
I think if the court modified the bond to have the 10,000 cash professional surety with bond supervision to cover both cases, I think that'd be appropriate, Your Honor.
All right. So for the time being, Ms. Hart, the best I'm able to do or willing to do is to modify the bond to 10,000 cash surety of supervision to cover both cases. So that means you'd have to come up with $1,000 if you're to go through a bondsman. And the supervision, obviously, is you have to check in with court services upon your release from custody and anytime thereafter they direct. Your next court date is going to be June 5th at 1 o'clock. If you are still in custody, having been unable to post bond, we can take it up again, and perhaps there's some other measures or conditions that can be imposed that would satisfy the court's concerns. But that is all I'm going to do today.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. We're going to take up, I think, John Logan next. He's at the Larned Correctional Facility. It's a garnishment review. I don't know there's much we can do on it. So I don't know that Butler and Associates is joining us.
How you doing?
Good morning. You are John Logan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is State of Kansas versus John Douglas Logan Jr.
Yeah, the third.
The third, my apologies. 2012 CR 151. Mr. Logan, you appear in custody from the Larned Correctional Facility, appearing by Zoom.
I'm in Lansing Correctional Facility.
Lansing, my apologies, Lansing, okay.
Your Honor, I paid this court cost when I got released in 2013. Everything from Montgomery County should have been paid for to Shining County. Shining County and Montgomery County, I don't know if they corresponded or not. I don't know, but everything was paid to Shining County.
Well, I don't know exactly how all the payments work. I don't know that Shawnee County can accept payments for Montgomery County. Perhaps they can, but that doesn't make much sense to me. But what I have here, Mr. Logan, and we're not going to be able to resolve your case today because we're going to have Butler and Associates join us because they're the ones that are pursuing this collection. And so one of their attorneys needs to be present to defend the garnishment. But what I would tell you is that our records show, as of May 6, that there were $740 of charges that include a filing fee, DNA database fee, attorney fee reimbursement. So all the costs and fees that were assessed totaled $740. That payments of $197.01 have been received, and there exists a balance as of May 6 of $542.99.
Your Honor, I paid almost $1,100 to Shining County when I was released in 2014 to 2015. All Montgomery County, I didn't owe Shining County anything. I had to pay this to get discharged off papers. I was discharged in like the end of 2014, beginning of 2015, and everything was paid. Gina Green was my PO, and she can verify all of this because she's the one discharged.
All right. Well, all I can tell you, Mr. Logan, is our records show that you have a balance of $542.99. I can't speak for what you paid Shawnee County. I don't have Shawnee County's records. Again, it would seem unusual to me that Shawnee County would accept a payment for a Montgomery County case. Maybe they can. I don't know. But we don't have an attorney from Butler and Associates here this morning. So the best I can do for you is to continue this to my next docket. That'll allow Butler County or Butler and Associates an opportunity to review your objection, and they might be able to obtain records from Shawnee County to see if they did receive payments for your Montgomery County case. And we can try to resolve it on my next docket. So that's all I can do for you today. We'll pass this to June 5th at 9 o'clock. We will make sure that Butler and Associates gets proper notice so they can appear, and we can explore what payments have been made to Shawnee County and see if we can get this resolved. But again, my records show that you still have a balance. It could be an error, but I'm not in a position to resolve your objection today.
Okay, Your Honor. Like I said, I paid it in like 2014, 2015. And that was the only way that they was gonna discharge me out of paper. I didn't owe Shining County anything. When I got released in 2013, I paroled to Shining County, and my court costs, court fines, and fees was there at the parole office, and they gave it to me when I got my settlement from a car crash when I was in Coffeyville, Kansas before I caught the case. I paid it. They had the settlement waiting on me when I got released in 2013. I didn't get the settlement until like the beginning of 2014.
Yeah, I understand your argument, Mr. Logan. I just don't have the records to verify it that allow me to grant your request. So we're going to have to do some more investigation to see on that payment and see how it was applied. But I understand your argument 100%. I just don't have the records before me this morning, and I don't have an attorney from Butler & Associates here to defend their garnishment for us to further address this.
Because they constantly taking money. They've been taking money from me from 2024 all the end of 23 all the way up until now. Well, now we can go back to 2020 when I made to RDU and everything just started coming off my account. Whereas this case, you know what I'm saying, happened in 2008, 2009.
Well, it's a 2012 case, I believe.
I was incarcerated in 2012.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what we can do today, Mr. Logan. I understand your argument. I understand your position. I don't have the records to I guess, verify it. My record shows something different. So we're going to review this again on June 5th at 9 o'clock, and hopefully we'll be able to obtain the information that you're telling us here today that's been paid to Shawnee County. And perhaps you're right. And if you are, then we can address any sort of reimbursement you might be entitled to from Butler & Associates. But that's all we can do today. So we'll see you June 5th at 9 o'clock.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Woolfolk, I'll take up those individuals you have here using the laptop.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And while she's getting those individuals, Ms. Shoup, if you still have Allison Bailey, we can take up Ms. Bailey.
Miss Bailey, Your Honor.
Thank you. State of Kansas versus Allison Bailey, MGI 25 CR 166. Ms. Bailey appears by Zoom from the Coffeyville Court Service Office. And this is on for a formal first appearance. Ms. Bailey, you are charged in a, looks like 5-count information with the following charges. Each are alleged to have occurred on or about April 29th, 2025 in Montgomery County, Kansas. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Count 1 is flee and attempt to elude a law enforcement officer. It is alleged that you were the driver of a motor vehicle and you unlawfully and knowingly failed or refused to bring your vehicle to a stop or otherwise fled or attempted to elude a pursuing police vehicle when given visual or audible signals to bring your vehicle to a stop, and you committed 5 or more moving violations in the process. That's a level 9 person felony, carries a possible penalty of 5 to 17 months in prison, a fine up to $100,000, and 12 months post-release supervision. In count 2, you're charged with no driver's license. It's alleged that you unlawfully and knowingly drove a motor vehicle upon a highway in this state without a valid driver's license. That is a Class B non-person misdemeanor, and that carries a possible penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail and or fine up to $1,000. In count 3, you are charged with no proof of liability insurance. It is alleged that you unlawfully operated a motor vehicle upon a highway or upon property open to use by the public, and you failed to display upon demand evidence of financial security to a law enforcement officer, having been lawfully requested to do so in accordance with provisions of the Automobile Injury Reparations Act. That is a Class B non-person misdemeanor, also carrying a penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail, a minimum fine of $300 up to a maximum of $1,000. In count 4, you're charged with illegal registration. It is alleged that you unlawfully displayed or caused or permitted to be displayed, or you had in your possession any registration receipt, certificate of title, registration license plate, registration decal, accessible parking placard, or accessible park identification card, knowing the same to be fictitious or to have been canceled, revoked, suspended, or altered. That is an unclassified misdemeanor and carries a fine not exceeding $2,500 or by imprisonment in the county jail for not less than 30 days, nor more than 6 months, or both such a fine and imprisonment. Let's see. For any person to have violated these provisions unless a different penalty is prescribed by this act. And lastly, in count 5, you are charged with driving without lighted lamps when required. It is alleged that you unlawfully failed to display head and other lamps or illuminating devices on a motor vehicle when driving on a public highway or street from sunset to sunrise, or at any other time when, due to insufficient light or unfavorable atmospheric conditions, persons and vehicles on the highway are not clearly discernible at a distance of 1,000 feet ahead. That is an infraction, and that carries a penalty of a fine not exceeding $500. Do you understand those charges, Miss Bailey?
No, sir, not entirely. I do not.
Okay, what about those 5 charges you do not understand? And before you answer, let me just explain that I'm not asking whether you agree with them. I'm just asking if you understand them. So was there one of those 5 charges that you did not understand?
I just don't understand all the legalities to it, Your Honor. That's all I mean by that. I'm not trying to be smart or anything.
And that's fair. Well, in short, count 1, you're alleged to have not stopped for law enforcement when they gave you signal to do so. The other counts are pretty straightforward. They're alleging you didn't have a valid driver's license. They're alleging you didn't have proof of insurance. They're alleging that you didn't have proper registration. And they're alleging that you didn't have your headlights on when required. So those are the allegations in short.
Yes, sir.
You're appearing today without an attorney. Did you intend on hiring one, or do you want the court to consider appointing you one?
Would you guys consider appointing me one, please?
We absolutely will. Have you filled out an application and an affidavit for court-appointed counsel by chance?
I believe I did, but it might have gotten thrown away upon exiting somehow. It was left with the jail, but I don't know if it was turned in. It doesn't seem like it was, but I would be more than happy to fill one out while I'm here.
All right. I think Ms. Shoup may have one for you, or you can go to the clerk's window out in the lobby there in Coffeyville, and they'll get you an application and an affidavit.
Okay.
Are you still employed? Is it through PenMac with Standard Motors? Is that right?
I was employed with Standard Motor. Apparently I used the bathroom too many times, and so I understand, but PenMac is still willing to work with me. They are going to let me know this week what else is available. I am in close contact with them. And then I'm also looking for other stuff that is available that might even just be closer by.
So is it fair to say that you're presently unemployed?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any current source of income?
No, sir, I do not.
All right. Well, again, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and fill that paperwork out again and leave it with the clerk's window before you leave the courthouse there in Coffeyville today.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to go ahead and appoint you an attorney because based on your statements here to me, you are going to qualify as indigent to have an attorney appointed. We are going to appoint, let's see, it's a Coffeyville PD case. We're going to appoint Seth Jones to represent you. And his telephone number, if either you or Ms. Shoup can write this down, is 331-1800.
And that is the area code was 620.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And your case is assigned to Judge Collins. And so your next court date is going to be in person. And that's going to be on Thursday, May 29th. And that'll be at 9 a.m. and that'll be in Independence. So 9 a.m. Independence in person. And that will be to select a preliminary hearing date. And you can discuss with your attorney, Mr. Jones, what all that is and how you should proceed.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, anything from the state, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll see you on May 29th. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
State of Kansas versus Kevin Allison. This is MGI 25 CR 121. Mr. Allison appears by Zoom from the court laptop. All right, and I accidentally muted you. Thank you. Mr. Allison appears by Zoom, stated by Mr. Gayoso, and this is on for a formal first appearance. Right, Mr. Allison, you are charged with 4 counts, each alleged to have occurred on or about March 24th, 2025 in Montgomery County, Kansas. Count 1 is residential burglary. It is alleged that on or about March, or on that date, you unlawfully, feloniously, and without authority entered into or remained within a dwelling at 913 Lincoln Street, Cottville, Kansas, with the intent to commit a theft therein. That's a level 7 person felony, carries a possible penalty of 11 to 34 months in prison, a fine up to $100,000, and 12 months post-release supervision. In count 2, you are charged with theft of property or services, value between $1,500 and $25,000. It is alleged that you unlawfully, feloniously, and intentionally obtained or exerted unauthorized control over property or services, to wit, numerous cans of Sherwin-Williams paint, paint brushes, joint compound, and numerous tubes of latex caulking, with the intent to permanently deprive the owner, Ivan Dale Smith Jr., of the possession, use, or benefit of the property or services. That is a level 9 non-person felony, carries a penalty of 5 to 17 months in prison, a fine up to $100,000, and 12 months post-release supervision. In count 3, you are charged with possession of drug paraphernalia as a misdemeanor. It is alleged that you unlawfully used or possessed with the intent to use drug paraphernalia, to wit, a syringe, used or intended for use for storing, containing, concealing, injecting, or otherwise introducing a controlled substance into the human body. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor, carries a penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail and or a fine up to $1,000. And lastly, in count 4, you are charged with criminal damage to property, and it is alleged that you unlawfully and knowingly, by means other than fire or explosive, damaged, destroyed, defaced, or substantially impaired the use of property, to wit, the back door of 913 Lincoln Street, Cottville, Kansas, to the extent of less than $1,000, in which Ivan Dale Smith Jr. had an interest and without his consent. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor, also carrying a penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail and or a fine up to $1,000. Do you understand those charges, Mr. Allison?
All but the aggravated part of the burglary. Was there somebody home or something?
I don't think I said aggravated. If I did, I misspoke. It's residential burglary.
Oh, I thought you said aggravated. Yeah, I understand it all.
Okay. Did you intend on hiring an attorney? Or do you want the court to consider appointing you one?
I filled out a paper for a point, so you guys have appointed me one already.
You did? Okay. Let me see if we have that. Are you employed?
No. Full time.
All right, Mr. Allison, I'm going to appoint Robert Lattin to represent you. His number is 331-8070. I think Ms. Woolfolk's writing that down for you, perhaps, or maybe Deputy Johnson there behind you. But 331-8070, Robert Lattin is your attorney of record, or will be. Your case was originally assigned to Judge Collins. I'm going to have it reassigned to me because you also have a case number 24-CR-152 on which you're recently placed on probation, and I would anticipate there might be coming a motion to revoke that probation. And so both your cases will be assigned to me as opposed to having one with me and one with Collins. Your next court date is going to be on June 5th. That'll be at 9 o'clock by Zoom, and that will be to select a preliminary hearing date. You're welcome to come back here and use our laptop if that's what you need to do, or if you are able to get onto Zoom on your own, being that you have a good internet connection, a Zoom capable device, you're welcome to appear from your place of employment or your home, as long as you're able to get signed on. But if you have difficulty, you want to be sure to come here to use our laptop. If you don't do either, that'll be a failure to appear, and that could result in your arrest.
Yeah. Do you have a laptop in Coffeyville I could use at that courthouse?
You can check with the court service office there in Coffeyville. Sometimes they allow individuals to appear from their office, but you want to check with them. But to the extent they'll allow it, you're more than welcome to appear from Coffeyville. That's fine as well.
All
right. Anything further from the state, Mr. Gasso?
Judge, he was previously ordered for bond supervision. when he was given a bond at his informal first appearance. At the formal first appearance, we hadn't had charges filed yet, and he was released from custody. I just want to make sure he is still reporting to his ISO. I think that would be sufficient. But I just wanted to make sure that that is still the case.
I have been checking in with my probation officer.
You have been?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, continue to do that. You can check in with your intensive supervision officer or your probation officer. I don't see any need for you to report to two different individuals. So is Mr. Allison appearing today on having been a service summons? Is that right?
That's correct, Judge. He provided us an address and we summoned him, and he was arrested initially for these charges, so he should have been already processed.
Okay. But he would currently have, there's not a bond in place.
There is not a bond in place.
Or conditions of release.
Correct.
Okay.
He was originally given a $10,000 cash or professional surety bond before he was released.
I don't think that's correct, actually.
Well, that's what the notes reflect, Mr. Allison, is you were set a bond, but then the state wasn't in a position to file charges at the time, and so you were released without having to post that bond.
Okay.
What I'm going to do, Mr. Allison, since you appeared today, I'm going to allow you to remain out of custody on a $5,000 OR bond with conditions that you report to your probation officer as they direct in 24 CR 152. No contact with the alleged victim or witness in this case, Dale Smith Jr. You're not to be around him, contact him, or be around his property. If you were to do that, that'd be a violation of your bond. It could result in it being revoked.
Well, my wife and two of my kids and four of my grandkids live at one of his houses. So is it a different house though?
I'm talking about 913 Lincoln Street.
Just stay away from there. That's no problem.
From that house or anywhere that Mr. Ivan Dale Smith Jr. is located. If he's not at those other houses, I don't see a reason why you can't be there if that's where your wife and kids live, so long as there's nothing prohibiting you having contact with them.
Okay.
I am going to have you processed in and out of the jail again, just that there is a new bond. It's an OR bond. So what you need to do, Mr. Allison, is go down to the jail. Again, they're just going to process you in and out and give you a copy of the bond conditions. And then we'll see you, as I said, on June 5th at 9 o'clock by Zoom.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
No.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. So make your way down to the jail, Mr. Allison, just to be processed in and out.
Okay.
Thank you. Deputy Johnson, would you notify the jail that he's going to be coming down there to get processed in and out? Good morning. Are you Jessica Parsons?
Sure.
All right. This is State of Kansas versus Jessica Parsons. Ms. Parsons, this is MGI 25-123. State appears by Mr. Gayoso. You were summoned to appear today with the state having filed a complaint that charged you with 1 count of battery. It is alleged that on or about March 10th, 2025, at 4:29 p.m. in Montgomery County, Kansas, that you unlawfully and knowingly caused physical contact with another person, Jace Knotts, and done in a rude, insulting, or angry manner. That's a Class B person misdemeanor, carries a possible penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail and or a fine up to $1,000. Do you understand that charge?
Yeah.
All right. Do you still live on County Road 1425 in Caney, Kansas?
Yes, sir.
Do you intend on Well, I show that you actually returned an application for court-appointed counsel this morning. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I think I reviewed that and that you've qualified. Let me just double check. All right, that is correct. So we're going to appoint an attorney for you. That's going to be Heath Lampson. His telephone number is 316-617-6714. Your next court date will be June 5th at 9 o'clock by Zoom. That'll be for arraignment. You're welcome to come back here and use our laptop if you need to, or if you have the ability to get on Zoom on your own. So if you have a Zoom capable device and a good internet connection and you want to appear from home, your place of employment, or you just don't want to come back here to the Judicial Center, that's fine. So long as you're able to get signed on, that will satisfy your appearance obligation. Any questions about that?
Okay.
All right. Because you were issued a summons, we do have to process you in and out of the jail. Mr. Gaz, so any objection to a $2,500 OR bond?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So, Miss Parsons, I'm going to allow you to remain out of custody on what we call a $2,500 OR bond. What that means is you don't have to post any money to get or stay out of jail. But should you fail to appear for a future court appearance, you may owe the court $2,500. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. What you will have to do, though, today is as soon as we're done here, which will be in just another minute or two, you need to immediately go down to the sheriff's office where they are going to fingerprint you, perhaps take your photo, and then they will release you from, you won't even be placed in custody, but they'll process you in and out. And they'll give you a copy of the custody slip that has the conditions of your bond on there, which are basically obey the law, don't use any illegal substances, don't have any contact with Jace knots, things of that nature. Any questions about that? All right. So go down to the jail, get processed in and out, and then we'll see you on June 5th at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. You are Richard Mace.
I am.
All right. This is State of Kansas versus Richard Mace, MGI 25 CR 173. Mr. Mace, you appear by Zoom from the court laptop without counsel. State by Mr. Gayoso. And your case comes on for a formal first appearance today. The state has filed a complaint information that charges you with 5 counts. Each alleged to have occurred on or about May 2nd, 2025 in Montgomery County, Kansas. Count 1 is possession of methamphetamine. It is alleged that you unlawfully, knowingly, and feloniously possessed a quantity of methamphetamine, a Schedule II controlled substance as designated in Kansas statutes. That's a level 5 drug felony, carries a possible penalty of 10 to 42 months in prison, a fine up to $100,000, and 12 months post-release supervision. In count 2, you're charged with trafficking contraband into a correctional institution. It is alleged that you unlawfully and feloniously, and without the consent of the administrator of the correctional institution or care and treatment facility, introduced or attempted to introduce marijuana into or upon the grounds of the correctional institution or care and treatment facility. That's a level 6 non-person felony, carries a possible penalty of 17 to 46 months in prison, a fine up to $100,000, and 24 months post-release supervision. In count 3, you're charged with possession of marijuana. It is alleged that you unlawfully and knowingly possessed a quantity of marijuana, a Schedule I controlled substance, and or its active ingredient, THC, also a Schedule I controlled substance, both as designated in Kansas statutes. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor, carrying a possible penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail and or fine up to $1,000. In count 4, you're charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. It is alleged that you unlawfully used or possessed with the intent to use drug paraphernalia, to wit, a smoking pipe and or torch lighter, used or intended for unlawful use, and storing, containing, concealing, injecting, ingesting, inhaling, or otherwise introducing a controlled substance into the human body. That's a Class B non-person misdemeanor, carries a possible penalty of up to 6 months in the county jail and or fine up to $1,000. Lastly, in count 5, you're charged with defective tail lamps or tag light. It's alleged you unlawfully drove a motor vehicle without the required tag light. That's a traffic infraction, and that carries a possible penalty of a fine not exceeding $500. Do you understand those charges, Mr. Mace?
I do. I'm a little confused, but I do
All right.
understand what you're saying.
And that's all we need to know for now is whether you understand what I'm saying. Not that you agree with them, but just you understand what the allegations are. You are appearing without an attorney today. Did you intend on hiring your own, or did you want the court to consider appointing you one?
I need an appointed attorney. I do not have the funds for a lawyer.
Okay. Have you filled out an application and an affidavit for one yet?
I have the paperwork. It will be turned in today.
Okay, excellent. If you turn that in before you leave here today, we'll review it. And assuming what you're telling me today is consistent with what you put on your application, we will appoint an attorney for you. Your case is assigned to Judge Reynolds. His docket is next week. And so you're going to have court again a week from today. That's going to be on Thursday, May 15. That'll be at 9 o'clock by Zoom. You are welcome to come back here and use our laptop if that's what you need to do. Or if you have a good internet connection and a Zoom capable device, and you're able to if you're able to sign on to Zoom on your own, you can do it that way. But you need to do one or the other. So long as Judge Reynolds can hear you and see you on May 15th at 9 o'clock, you will have satisfied your appearance obligations for that day. Any questions about that?
What is that concerning next week? Is that
That's going to be an attorney review. So we're going to review the
Okay.
application that you're going to submit. And if an attorney has not been appointed for you before that date, then on that date, Judge Reynolds will appoint you an attorney.
okay?
And then your court date after that will likely be 4 weeks later. But you'll discuss that with Judge Reynolds on the 15th.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Gaz, so anything from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any other questions, Mr. Mace?
No.
All right, we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that all the individuals appearing on the laptop, Ms. Woolfolk?
That's all that's here, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, I think that concludes the regular portion of the docket this morning. We do have 4 informal first appearances. I'll need just maybe 2-3 minutes to review those. And then we can take those up before our current treatments. So we're going to take a very brief recess, and I'll reactivate my video when the court's ready.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are back on the record. We're starting the informal first appearances for the day. Deputy, I'll take whomever you have available.
All right, Your Honor. Mr. Campbell. Campbell, Your Honor.
All right, you're Jerry Shamblin?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Shamblin, you appear in custody by Zoom, having been arrested on probable cause by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, their case number 25-497 for the offense of domestic battery. When you're not in custody, do you still live on County Road 5900 in Liberty, Kansas?
Yes, I do.
Do you reside there with Juanita Miller?
Yes.
Is that a house you own together?
No.
Who owns the house?
Not neither one of us.
You rent it?
No. My late wife's parents own it.
Okay. I inquire because Miss Miller is also on my docket this morning for domestic battery against you. And a condition of bond that I'm going to discuss with you here in a moment is you two have no contact with each other until further order of the court. And so if you're both residing in the same house, that means one of you is going to have to move. And so I was trying to ascertain whose house it is.
20-some years.
All right. Well, it sounds like she might be the one that has to move. All right, Mr. Shamblin, are you employed?
No, I'm on Social Security,
How much do you receive per month?
$1,000.
Is that your only source of income?
Yes.
I show, as far as your criminal history is concerned, you have a 2016 possession of marijuana misdemeanor conviction, a 2013 paraphernalia conviction. Do you have any criminal history after 2016?
No.
Do your record show anything different, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor.
Bond recommendation?
We'll leave it at the court's discretion.
All right, Mr. Shambin, I'm going to release you on a $2,500 OR bond. That means you do not have to post any money to get out of jail today. But should you fail to appear for a future court appearance, you may owe the court $2,500. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. As I mentioned, one specific condition of your bond, among others that will be on a piece of paper you'll get, is that you have no contact of any kind, direct or indirect, with any alleged victim or witness. In this case, that would be Juanita Miller. So until further order of the court, you'd have no contact with Miss Miller, and she'll be advised the same about you. She has no contact with you either. The deputy there is going to give you an application and an affidavit for a court-appointed attorney. If you want the court to consider appointing you counsel, fill that paperwork out, leave it with the jail before you are discharged from their facility today. Upon receipt, in light of your disability or your Social Security status, we'll appoint an attorney for you. If by chance you have the financial means to hire your own, and that's what you want to do, then you can hire your own attorney. Otherwise, we'll appoint one for you if you qualify financially.
All right.
Your next court date is going to be Thursday of next week. That is May the 15th. And that is at 9 o'clock. That's a Zoom hearing. I don't know if you have the ability to appear by Zoom. If you do not, then you need to come back here to the Judicial Center by 9 a.m. on May 15th. And when your case is called, we'll get you set up on a laptop to appear that way. If you're able to get on the Zoom on your own, that is, you have a good internet connection and a Zoom capable device, and you're able to get signed on successfully, then you can appear from home if you want to do that.
Yeah, I've used it to doctor's appointments.
You use it for doctor's appointments?
Yeah, Zoom.
Okay, excellent. So you're familiar with how that works. Just be sure you get signed on. If you have any difficulties doing it on your own, you want to be sure to make your way here quickly to the Judicial Center so you can appear from our laptop.
All right.
All right, that'll be a formal first appearance. You'll find out on that date what you have formally been charged with. It'll likely be this domestic battery. It could be something different. That's up to the county attorney's office to decide. Do you have any questions, Mr. Shamblin?
No.
All right, so get that paperwork filled out and leave it with the jail before you are discharged. We'll see you on May 15th at 9 o'clock by Zoom. Anything further from the state, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shamblin.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, Your Honor.
All right, this is State of Kansas versus James Jones, 20 CR 37. Mr. Jones, you appear in custody by Zoom, having been arrested on an arrest warrant alleging violations of your probation. We'll note the state appears by Mr. Gayoso, Assistant County Attorney. Mr. Jones, your intensive supervision officer, Ms. Coda, filed an affidavit on September 5th of 2023. And I think that you were just recently arrested on that warrant, but it alleges that you violated your probation by one, failing to report to her as directed, with allegations that you failed to report on April 18 of 23, May 3rd of 23, July 12 of 23, July 26, August 2nd, August 9, August 23rd, August 30, all of 2023. The letters were sent to your last known address on August 16 and August 23rd. The second allegation is that you failed to attend substance abuse treatment. Specifically, that you completed your evaluation on March 29th of 2023, but you failed to attend anything thereafter, despite having recommendations for outpatient treatment. The third allegation is that you failed to attend a mental health evaluation, and that alleges that on July 5th of 23, you were referred to Ford County to complete a mental health evaluation. You failed to complete that. So those are the allegations the state would have to prove at a future hearing. Are you still living on West Locust and Independence?
No, sir.
Where do you presently reside?
Currently, I'm homeless. I've been bouncing around. I've been in and out of the emergency rooms, and I don't have reconstructive bone surgery, and so I haven't been having no place to stay. I've been going from Wichita to Topeka just to get to the hospitals.
All right. Ms. Coda, do you have information for the court about Mr. Jones?
Yes, he is actually on parole with Topeka.
Is there a parole hold as a result of?
Not yet, because he was in Shawnee County for the longest time, and he served his sentence there, and that's why he's on parole now.
Okay. Do you know what that crime of conviction was?
Give me a second.
Right. Or perhaps Mr. Jones can tell us, what were you on parole for? What was your crime?
I was pulled over and I gave a false name, so I was charged with attempted identity theft.
Okay. Are you on disability, Mr. Jones?
No, sir, I'm not.
Do you have any source of income?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Coda.
I was just going to confirm that it is identity theft and driving on the wrong direction on a one-way road.
Okay. Mr. Gasso, you have a bond recommendation for Mr. Jones?
No, Your Honor, we'll leave it at the court's discretion.
So if you're not in jail, Mr. Jones, where do you sleep at night?
Like I say, I've been in and out of the emergency rooms. I spend more time in the hospitals, but I'm usually at a friend's house. I recently just got an infection, a bacterial infection in my head where I spent months in the hospital where I had to be cut open from ear and neck to neck. So like I say, I've been in and out of the emergency rooms, honestly, more than anything.
Do you have any current medical appointments scheduled?
I did at the time I was in Shawnee County, but they never, I had to miss it because they wouldn't approve for me to go. It's in Wichita.
All right. All right, Mr. Jones, I'm going to set your bond at $2,500, cash, professional surety. That means you got out of jail by posting $2,500 to the clerk of the court, or you go through a bondsman. If you go through a bondsman, you pay them no less than 10% of that, it'd be $250. You need to report to Ms. Coda if you post that bond, as she directs you to. If you're unable to post the bond and you have medical appointments, you can let the jail know. They can contact the court, and perhaps Judge Collins, your assigned judge, can arrange a furlough for you to make your medical appointments if they are necessary. Your case is assigned to Judge Collins. Your next court date will be on Tuesday, May 27 at 9 o'clock. That's in person. So if you're able to post that bond or have somebody post it for you, and you're not in jail on May 27th, be sure to return here to the Judicial Center on that date by 9 a.m. If you're still in custody, they'll bring you up from the jail when your case is ready to be called. If the deputies haven't already, they're going to give you an application and an affidavit for court-appointed counsel. If you want to fill that paperwork out, we'll review it, and we'll likely appoint an attorney for you as soon as we get it back from you. Any questions about that?
Sure.
All right. We'll see you on May 27th at 9 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Bernor, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Lindsay Craner.
Lindsay Craner, Your Honor.
Lindsay Craner. Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Craner, you appear in custody by Zoom. having been arrested on probable cause by the Coffeyville Police Department, their case number 25-606. That's for the offenses of possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, and improper turn or approach. Do you understand why you're in custody today?
Yes,
When you're not in jail, do you used to live on North Edgewood Drive in Coffeyville?
yes.
How long have you lived there?
Probably 6 months, I think.
All right. Did you live somewhere else in Coffeyville prior to that?
Yes.
Are you
I was on
employed?
Edgewood.
You're on Edgewood as well? Okay. Are you employed?
No, not right now.
Any source of income?
No, just I pulled my retirement.
Okay. Do you have any children?
No.
With the exception of these pending offenses and perhaps something out of Coffeyville Municipal Court, do you have any criminal history? Any prior convictions on your record?
No.
Do your record show anything different, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Bond recommendation?
We'll leave it at the court's discretion.
All right, Miss Craner, ordinarily I'd approve you for an OR bond, given your lack of criminal history and this likely resulting in probation if you were found guilty of one or more of these charges, but I am concerned by your warrant out of Coffeyville Municipal Court for failure to appear.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that.
Right. And I don't know all the explanations behind that or know what you have pending, but if you fail to appear for a municipal court case, that has me concerned with your appearance for a district court case. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500 cash surety, so you will have to post a little money to get out of jail. That'd be $2,500 for the clerk of the court, or you can go through a bondsman. If you go through a bondsman, as most people do, you'd pay them no less than 10%. So that'd be $250 to a bondsman to get out of jail. The deputy will give you an application and an affidavit for court-appointed counsel. If you want the court to appoint you an attorney, fill that paperwork out. Leave it with the jail upon receipt and review. If you qualify, we'll appoint an attorney for you. You'd mentioned that you're currently unemployed, but you did pull out your retirement. So depending on how much money you have available to you, that will determine whether or not you qualify to have an attorney appointed or whether you have to hire your own. Your next court date is going to be Thursday of next week. That's May the 15th at 9 o'clock. That'll be a formal first appearance. You'll find out on that date what you've been formally charged with in this case. That's a Zoom hearing. There's two ways you can appear for that. If you are not in jail,
excuse me,
on that day, you can return here to the Judicial Center on the second floor. You'll check in at the clerk's window by 9 a.m. And when your case is called, we'll get you set up on a laptop to participate in that Zoom hearing. Your other option is if you're not in jail and you don't want to return here to the Judicial Center, so long as you have a Zoom capable device and a good internet connection and you're able to get logged on to Zoom on your own, you can appear that way. So long as Judge Reynolds can hear you and see you on that day, you will have satisfied your appearance obligation. If you don't do either, then it'll likely be considered a failure to appear, and that could result in a bench warrant for your arrest. And of course, if you have not posted that bond, you're still in jail, then you'll appear like you did today from the jail via Zoom. Any questions about that?
No.
No? All right. Anything from the state, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor.
We'll see you May 15th at 9 o'clock by Zoom. Thank you, ma'am.
Judge, do you think it's possible, do we have Juanita Miller still to do?
Yes.
Do you think it's possible after her, we could bring in again, Mr. Jones? I had forgotten I received an email from Ms. Cota on him regarding some recommendations for his bond, and I'd like to address something I forgot about.
We can do that, sure.
Thank you, Judge.
That's James Jones we'll need back?
Yes.
Please.
Okay, all right, I'll get him back. Yes, call for James Jones again, maybe even back up here.
Oh,
Okay, ma'am.
yes, sir. James,
James right here. Just stand right over here.
Are you Juanita Miller?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Miller, you appear in custody by Zoom, having been arrested on probable cause by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, third case number 25-497 for the offense of domestic battery.
May I please have an OR?
Probably not, but we're going to discuss that.
Okay.
Ms.
I'm
Miller,
blind. I'm legally blind, and I mean, the night that this happened, that I was sound asleep, and
well, let me stop you, Ms. Miller. You're kind of jumping the gun a little bit. We're not hearing your defense of this charge. You've not been formally charged with anything yet, but these are the allegations. I have found probable cause to support your arrest. What you're ultimately charged with will be up to the county attorney's office, and you'll find out about that next week. And you'll have the chance to present your defense to the charge, whatever it happens to be, but this is not the hearing to do that. Okay, so
yes, sir.
I just need to be patient, just listen to me and answer the questions that I ask of you. Are you employed or do you
No.
receive disability for your?
No, I'm about to get disability any minute now.
Okay, do you have any current source of income?
I have no income.
All right.
All I get is food. Only thing I get is food stamps.
All right, ma'am, I show that you are currently on probation for domestic battery in MGI 24 CR 260. That's a case with Judge Collins, and the victim of that domestic battery conviction is the same as the alleged victim of this pending offense. So that's a concern for the court.
No, it's a concern for me as well. I mean, I really need to get away from this man. I really do. I'm willing to go to rehab. I'm willing to go straight to rehab. I'm ready to reiterate. I'm relocate. I mean, or whatever that means. I'm willing to. I was working with 4 counties. I was about to move anyway, but the problem is 2 days before I was going to move, he attacked me in my sleep. What was I going to do?
Hey, let me start again, Ms. Miller. We're not discussing the facts of the case. I appreciate your willingness to go to rehab. I have no information regarding your.
Definitely want to do anything I can to get away from this man. Trust me.
Mr. Gasso, is there a bond recommendation?
We'll leave it at the court's discretion, Your Honor.
Ms. Miller, one thing I advise Mr. Shamblin is that you two, and it sounds like you have no problem with this, are going to be ordered to have no contact with each other. He advised that you both are residing on County Road 5900 in Liberty, Kansas, and that is a house belonging to perhaps the parents of a former spouse or somebody that he was involved in a relationship with. So it sounds like that you are going to find alternative living arrangements because you'll not be able to live with Mr. Shamblin at that residence. So be aware of that.
The thing is I have nowhere else to go. I have nowhere else to go. My family lives in Overland Park and they're homeless pretty much. I mean, I don't have anywhere. I have nowhere. That's my home. I've lived there for 2 years straight. But the other problem is I was working with 4 counties. I was about to go to rehab any minute now. And you know, I said I would get any help that I needed to get away from him. But the problem is that I have to go there first before I can go to rehab. So I don't know what to do. I have to go there first. That's my home. Everything I have is there. My dog is there, everything.
All right.
I've lived there.
This is what I'm going to do, Ms. Miller. I'm going to release you on a $3,500 OR bond. That means you don't have to post any money to get out of jail today. But should you fail to appear for a future court appearance, you may owe the court $3,500.
Okay, yes, sir.
I'm going to order as a condition of your bond that you do go to Fort County Mental Health, that you do obtain a mental health and drug assessment, and that you follow all recommendations for treatment that might come from that. That will be a condition of your bond. Additionally, as mentioned, you have no contact of any kind with Mr. Shamblin. Now, because neither one of you own that home and it belongs to, again, the family of a prior individual that he was in a relationship with, it's ultimately going to be their decision as to who remains there. But just know that you two would have no contact with each other. You cannot reside in the same house. I would recommend that you not go back there, at least without the assistance of law enforcement, because if you both go back to that home and you're caught there together, one or both of you is going to get arrested in all likelihood. So be aware of that. The deputy's going to give you an application and an affidavit for court-appointed counsel. Fill that paperwork out, leave it with the jail before you leave their facility. Upon receipt, I'll review it, and I'll likely appoint an attorney to represent you, assuming you don't have the means to hire your own. Your
I'll
next,
have to get my case manager to do this because I'm legally blind.
yeah, we have somebody who can assist you with that. They're in the jail. Your next court date is going to be on June 5th. Not June 5th, I'm sorry, May 15th. May 15th at 9 o'clock. That is a Zoom hearing. And there, Ms. Shoup, you have something on Ms. Miller?
Your Honor, if I may request that she continue to report to her probation officer?
Yes, we can do that. So a condition of your bond, again, Ms. Miller, is that you continue to report to Officer Newton, your probation officer.
Okay.
So that
I
is the
definitely will report. I definitely will report. I was about to report in 15 days.
that needs to be one of your first stops when you get out of jail. Excuse me. Let's see. Ms. Miller, is a Zoom hearing or an in-person hearing better for you?
It'd be better if I'm in person because I can't see that good and everything's
Okay.
blurry and I have to have help.
All right, so your court date on May 15th, that's going to be a 1:30 in person in Coffeyville. So you'll need to go to the courthouse at 1:30 p.m. in person in Coffeyville.
Okay, I'll have to get a ride probably by my case manager, Christy Gray.
All right, well, you'll have a week to make those arrangements. But 1:30 p.m. in person in Coffeyville, there'll be an in-person hearing. You'll find out what you've been formally charged with in this case.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything further from the state, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And we'll recall James Jones.
Okay.
20 CR 37. Hello again, Mr. Jones. After we took up your case, Mr. Gayoso recalled some bond conditions that he wanted to discuss and perhaps have ordered. So we had you recalled to address that. Mr. Gayoso, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize. I did receive an email yesterday from Miss Coda regarding this, and I had just forgotten until after Mr. Jones had walked away after his initial first appearance was completed. She is requesting electronic monitoring due to his failure to first report since 2023. Additionally, she believes he's a flight risk since he has no connections to this area, has been residing in Topeka on a parole violation out there or on parole. And she has concerns that he will abscond again if not given some type of restriction as to his whereabouts. So we would request electronic monitoring based on her recommendations.
All right. Those are all fair points, Mr. Jones, made by Mr. Gayoso through Ms. Coda. I'm going to adopt those recommendations, but again, your case is assigned to Judge Collins. And so when you appear before him on that, I think it's May 27th was the court date I gave you, or the 29th.
It was May 27th at 9 a.m. for review.
So when you appear on May 27th at 9 o'clock before Judge Collins, if he wants to modify these conditions, he can. If he doesn't feel that electronic monitoring is necessary or appropriate, then he can remove it. But for now, out of abundance of caution, given the flight risk that I would agree you perhaps pose, given that you were MIA for 2 years, not reporting on probation, allegedly, and the issues with parole, I will order electronic monitoring as a condition of your your bond.
I was in custody for a year.
I'm sorry.
I was in custody for a year.
Well, that accounts for 1 year of not reporting, but that doesn't count for the other. So again, you can take that up with Judge Collins on the 27th. So if you're unable to post bond, or if you're unable to get equipped electronic monitoring, or even if you are and you want to remove because of financial burden, then it'll be up to your assigned judge to determine whether that's appropriate. Anything further, Mr. Gayoso?
No, Your Honor. I've been in, no.
Okay. That's all, Mr. Jones. Thank you. That's all I show for the docket this morning.